It's the master up against the apprentice, Wayne Bennett taking on Benji Marshall. We all love a coach matchup. This should be pretty interesting, Kenty.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Look, obviously, one of the things Benji made a point of when he was coming into coaching was how much he learned off Wayne, who he spent the latter part of his career as a player. And he sort of adopted the Wayne approach where he's sort of the man manager more than he's the stats guy or the X's and O's guy. Look, certainly what we've seen so far, the players responding to the Tigers. It's interesting to see how it goes. Bennett's a guy, his style of coaching doesn't exist in the game anymore. Benji's now the youngest coach and he's adopted it. So you kind of wonder whether it's starting to go full circle or not.
I'm liking how Benji's even taking a leaf out of Wayne's playbook in terms of how to handle the media. So he had the boxing gloves on. He's putting right hands and left hooks on Brent Reid after that great win over Parramatta Easter Monday. And just deflecting, being prepared to answer questions, but at the same time also put blokes in their place. That's been a staple of Wayne's existence his entire coaching career.
He's very considered, Benji. He's very calm, isn't he? He's a snappy dresser up in the box, isn't he, Kenny? He's become a bit of a cool cat, though, hasn't he?
But
Benji's a cool cat.
Hang on, first you didn't like the golf.
Well, but
and the
even
fact
then,
that he's a rock
playing
star
golf,
and he might be rolling to his own
but
tune.
I said initially, Benji playing golf isn't the normal processes coaches go through on game day. I didn't say it was wrong. I said it was different, but it's working for Benji.
Well, he's played 18 holes at Concord the day before they beat Cronulla, and then he's backed up again Easter Monday, and we haven't seen the Tigers defend like this probably in the entire history of the club.
Now he needs to do it every time they play. It
I
could be superstition.
He plays up in Brisbane on game day on
You think he's doing a good job?
I think he's doing a terrific job. Look, the Tigers...
Because you were worried a bit, weren't you?
Well, I was concerned
A lot of people were.
about his work ethic. Either he was going to
do
do the hours to succeed. Yeah. But when the Tigers play well, and they are, they've ignited the NRL. That crowd at CommBank, it was like they were playing a home game. They're ready to win, the West Tigers fans, and if he keeps doing it, mate, they will become a powerful franchise
Best thing for the club is that the players are up for the game. That's going to be the difficulty for them as well. But particularly last 2 weeks, they've been up for the game.
You mentioned before he's adopted the same mentality as a coach and approach as Wayne.
Similar,
right? Do you think he can maintain it? You said he's done well so far, but
the strength of it's also got to come down to his assistants. Okay, he's got John Morris there who's very capable. So for it to continue to go on, look, Tigers don't have any injuries at the moment. I don't know if they have great depth throughout the squad. That's going to test them. There's a whole lot of things that Benji hasn't faced yet. You talk to every coach, they say you don't really know what you are as a coach. You've had 4 or 5 losses in a row. That hasn't come yet. That'll come at some point throughout his career, we imagine, if it goes like everybody else. So there's a lot we don't know. All we can say is from the early sides, the players are bought in the way that Benji... I love the way that Benji speaks about the buy-in when it doesn't have the hollow ring that some coaches tend to have sometimes where they say it because they've heard other coaches say it. I think it's something Benji's genuinely pushing at the club.
To your point about the assistant coaches there, Kenty, one thing that Wayne's been a genius at over the years is surrounding himself with really good operators that make his job easier, and he's the best in the business when it comes to delegating. And I think to your question about Benji's work ethic, it shows that at the moment Benji has got the balance right in that John Morris has coached at NRL level previously. You've only got to look at the way the West Tigers formulated that game plan against Cronulla and executed it.
Don't worry, John Morris had a square up in him too against Cronulla.
Yeah, exactly.
He relished on the game
that's
plan
smart.
against
That's
Cronulla.
also smart from Benji that he can see all of that and he's balancing it perfectly.
What's a realistic win ratio for the Tigers this year? And let's be fair, Nick.
What do you mean, an acceptable one, you mean?
How many wins do you think, Braith, is a successful year for the Tigers?
I think
8 to 9, maybe 10?
You would have said that before a ball was kicked, but now you've watched their last 2 wins, it kind of changes, right? As the season, the expectation changes, and I think they can win, that many and possibly more if they keep playing the way that they do. Well, just back to Benji. What I like about Benji, I think the great coaches are more often judged off how they handle losses, and he's already been tested with that loss against Canberra to start off the season and bounce back pretty well. So he's doing a really good job to bounce back from that loss and criticism and people questioning how many hours he's putting in to go and then deliver 2 wins in a row. The way that they've won, he's definitely on the right track. And let's get to some team news or more look at their halves. Jaden Sullivan gets his opportunity to play this week. Would it be maybe a bit of a trial with him? With the number of halves they've got and the depth they've got in their squad, there'd be other clubs looking at Jaden right now thinking if he does get a release or things don't go the way that it looks like it may, he could go to another club, or there could be some clubs looking.
Well, clearly they've got a bit of a logjam there at the moment. So they've got Sullivan, they've got obviously Galvin's just come through, and Caesar's there, and Adam Dewey's going to come back. There's some quality players there.
Fainu,
Luai obviously is on the bench this week, so and Luai's coming next year. So there's a stack of players there. The two standouts you would say are Galvin, from where he's began the season. The fact he's only 18, you see a big future there. And obviously Luai coming next year. Dewey's like rep potential. He's got that sort of talent in him.
But they won't play him in the halves, right?
Well, probably not if they've got the other two, but who knows?
He's
I don't think anyone's
off Adam Dewey. That was a really nasty knee injury that he sustained, and he's had previous as well. In relation to Bud Sullivan, I think other clubs will be monitoring
and he'll be
his
looking
form
at them
because
too.
there's clearly a surplus and a logjam of halves at West Tigers, certainly once Jerome Luai arrives next season, but even now. And as clubs look to tinker with their rosters and just get the balance and the structure right, I think there's no doubt. You look at some of the other teams in the competition, the Bulldogs could use a half, the Gold Coast Titans could use a half. I think other clubs will most certainly. And the Tigers are probably, it'll get to the stage where if Fainu kicks and then you got Galvin flying as well, he might be surplus.
But they'll have to upgrade. They not have to, but they will likely upgrade and extend. Even though Galvin's on an okay money, if they want to keep him...
Well, it depends what he's on.
Yeah.
Why are they obligated to
I'm not
seasons.
saying they're obligated. I'm just telling you what I think will happen.
Well, I dare say this though too, okay, in defence of the club, they probably signed Galvin with a lot of what he signed for, given the fact he was 17 or 18 when he signed the contract. A lot of that contract would have been based on his potential.
Definitely.
So a lot of that would have already been built in to what the club could rightfully say, well, mate, what you're doing now is what we thought you were going to deliver. Therefore, that's what we've put in the contract. His manager will say the opposite.
But if I ask you, do you think they will upgrade and extend him if he continues to play the way he is?
I believe they will, yes. Yeah. But I don't think...
But that will push a half out, or a two.
Well, I don't know what the salary cap
Caesar's
situation
only on a
is.
one-year deal, isn't he? So he will move on. So there's one gone. Sullivan, I think, will be moved on. That'll be two.
Well, he's got 3 more years to go after this.
I know, but I'm saying, as Braith says, there's a congestion there and they can't all survive. Galvin and Jerome Luai are the long-term halves. There's no doubt in my mind.
Well, they're both 5'8", though. They are essentially both...
How are you going to squeeze them in there?
Luai has stipulated, and I think this was a big part of the negotiations, he wants to be the main man. He wants to wear the 7.
But does he want to be that organising role? Does he want to play that role? He wants to play the Nathan Cleary role.
I think he wants to challenge himself.
I think he wants to prove some people wrong. Yeah, because he hasn't really done that at Penrith. I mean, he did great the weekend without Nathan there. But I think why Lockie Galvin's playing so well at the moment, he's got Caesar inside of him, just controlling the game plan, dictating terms, experienced, been there, done it, been in the grand final, and then Lachlan can just do his own thing, right? So it would be different when Luai gets there. They're pretty similar, 5'8", and it'd be interesting to see how that pans out. Now,